Hey guys, welcome to Unfiltered, a podcast with M and D. And this podcast is all about just kind of talking about anything, everything, injector stuff, women stuff, relationship stuff. And yeah, my name's Emily, and I'm the owner of Be Smooth by Emily.
Hi, I'm Deanna, and I am the owner of The Aesthetic RNs.
So for our first podcast, we're just going to kind of talk about Botox-y type stuff, and then we'll go into other stuff for other podcasts. So I guess we can kind of start off and just talk about what a aesthetic injector actually is, what they do, because I feel like everyone's a little bit different. Every practice does a lot of different things.
I know.
Sometimes it's hard to know are they actually an injector, are they an esthetician, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to kind of explain your business and what you do?
Yeah, so as an aesthetic injector, you do have to have certain qualifications that will allow you to even be able to, train as a specialty. So you can be an LPN, RN, NP, PA, or an MD.
In Massachusetts. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know you could be an LPN.
Yeah. And then, so once you have your license in, any of those categories, you can then train in Botox, fillers, biostimulators, all types of different things. Of course, though, your scope of practice changes from each degree, so you have to be aware about your state laws and regulations and things like that. But
yeah, I feel every state has been a little different. I had my RN license for Rhode Island at one point, and their laws were a little different too. And, we got a little fly. It's all right. He can just stay that way. I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh,
I know.
But is there certain things that LPNs can't do IV fluids, can they?
I think they can. Yeah, they can.
Oh, okay. Because I think
I'm pretty sure it's the same in aesthetics for them.
Oh, aesthetic. I was gonna say because I think at the job that I'm saying whatever. The job that I'm at, the LPNs aren't allowed to do IV fluids, so that was kind of my question on that.
Maybe for settings like that, maybe it's a
different maybe it's just
delegation thing. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
I because I actually have a friend that's a LPN, and she was asking about training. I was like, oh, I actually didn't. She's like, no, they can in mask. I was like, oh, I totally didn't know that.
Yeah. Imagine.
Yeah. Everybody can do it.
I just stop there. I wouldn't have completed the rest of the damn schooling.
Yeah, no, I'm for real.
I'm kidding.
No, but honestly, if I knew that if I could do the same
financially
thing, without having to go to all schooling,
so the more you know.
Yeah, for real.
If you want to get into
everybody,
this,
I'm
I feel
you can make
they are even as nurses, we are definitely more supervised and regulated, but it's definitely worth it. I feel to continue your education anyways, because the more education you have, the more knowledge you have, the more safe you are.
That's true. So, I mean, even being a nurse practitioner right now, I'm still under people until I'm 2 years. But I also, I felt when I was, because I worked in the hospital for a little bit, when I did that, I felt the people who had I shouldn't say just but their associates, I'm not gonna lie, I felt they were 10 times smarter than me.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because they had to learn things in a very small amount of time, whereas mine was so spaced out. And, where I went, you had to have a C to pass. Whereas a lot of programs that are associates or
it's a B.
The 3 years, you have to have a B and above. And I think that's kind of, I always felt they were so much smarter than me and just knew so much more. I felt very especially with meds, that was my class I didn't do the wellest.
That's so funny. I just took advanced pharmacology.
Yep.
No, advanced pharmacotherapy.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't do all these, but
fucking fly.
I know meds.
Yeah.
But No, that was a hard class.
No, it is. And that was, I struggled with it when I came back. It's not over here anymore.
What the heck?
It always wants to come around. Every time I feel like we're in here, like with
now we're in the zone
and everything, it just wants to like, pew.
I know, I think I let it in.
Every time, I swear, it's always here. You like won't see it, and then the second you're about to start doing something, like, what the frick is this thing coming from? When I went back into it, like, from nursing to going into my nurse practitioner, I was like, shit, I gotta, like, really focus now, because this is a whole different world. Like, before, I only had to understand it because I was giving it and make sure it, like, wasn't gonna cause a reaction, but...
I'm done.
But yeah, when I went back from my nurse practitioner, I was like, I have to like really know this, because this is now I'm prescribing it. And everyone was like, yeah, like the first time you prescribe a med, you're gonna like be like, oh my god, what did I do? And it's true. The first time I like prescribed something, I was like, oh my god,
did I do this right?
Oh my god, like I signed something. That's my name.
I know, I can only imagine.
Yeah. So, but I think it's great that we can do like multiple different things, especially in the aesthetic world. And I actually didn't even know, Lisa actually taught me that nurses can't microneedle in Massachusetts, which I didn't know, because you do see a lot of people offering microneedling. So like at that point it's learning, is that person a nurse or are they an esthetician? Because estheticians can.
Right.
So that's where
we used to be able to, I think, and then it changed. So I think that's why everyone still is doing it, and I don't think that like a lot of people, you have to really look and keep yourself accountable to stay up to date with these like laws and things that change all the time, because they don't, just because you're a nurse, they don't get sent to you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not like a separate lice number that says you're an aesthetic provider, so these are the things that are changing. It's not like that. You really have to research yourself, read and make sure you're
board of nursing stuff.
Yeah.
I actually read the cosmetic board of nursing thing the other day.
It's a lot of verbiage.
Yeah, I was like, and I was like rereading it, and I'm like, okay,
I know.
I don't do that right. Okay, cool.
And that's it's good to have like a good medical director too, because Lisa, like sometimes I wouldn't even know like half of these things unless Lisa told me, and thank goodness, because
I was gonna say, I feel like I ask you and Lisa all these questions all the time, and sometimes I'm like, they're probably stupid questions, but I genuinely just don't know the answers. So like I just
better to ask.
Yeah, and like I want to be a medical director eventually, and part of me is like, yeah, as soon as I hit my 2 years, I'm gonna be a medical director, have under me. But then I'm like, if somebody was to ask me these questions right now, I don't know the answers to them.
Yeah, but
like, I don't gotta
keep learning. That's
exactly
most important thing is education. I swear that was, I think, what helped me the most. I don't know actually, but I think even if they're not services that I offer, it's the knowledge about the products and how things work.
Yeah.
That help me with my patients in my day-to-day practice. I feel like.
And I've been trying to do that a little bit more. Like, even if I'm not going to bring, like, a skin, whatever, like, it helps me to be like, oh, okay, like, that's what you guys are. Like, I can potentially someday, but, like, it's good to just learn those things. Because I definitely, like, I do Botox, but there's still questions I have in regards to Botox, and sometimes I don't know the answer. And I'm not gonna lie to a client. I'm not gonna be like,
much with it though. I feel like everything is like, I don't know. Botox is the same, right? It paralyzes the muscle, but like you can just do so much with it. But there's so much to learn,
and there's so many, and there's different like there's Xeomin, there's Dysport, there's Botox that like it, and then we just I was gonna say the one and like to understand like each one and the like, and this is where I get tricked up is I always sucked at like the anatomy physiology part of meds and like understanding how they react to certain stuff. Like I never was good at that stuff.
Positives and
so I'm just like it's just reteaching myself. But like I said, I'm never gonna lie to a patient. Like if they ask me something, I'm like, even in my full time, I'm like, let me do research. Like I'm not gonna answer you and give you a falsified answer. I'll be honest, I don't know. I'm not sure. let me get back to you with that. And I always do that. Even in my daily job, like, there are tons of questions that people have, and I'm like, I don't know. Let me go on my up-to-date. Let me do my research.
Up-to-date gives you every scenario,
Yeah.
no matter which way. It's like looking at a tree. What's the
Yeah.
answer to this? Yes,
Like,
go here.
yep,
No,
and
go
it breaks
here.
it down.
So nice.
But then you can also like read the paragraphs, and it'll give you a little more detail as to
Rationale.
why you chose that, and it's up to date because
Evidence-based
it's
practice.
always staying up to date too.
I hated evidence-based practice.
I
Like,
know.
people would use EVP, and I'd be like, shut up.
I
I don't
know.
ever want to hear that word. It
I
makes
know.
my hair stand
all
up.
of nursing school, and then like having to like like, especially like, I don't know if you do this now with, you probably have passed this point in the schooling of like when you had to do all the research and all the freaking writing
I took the
and
research.
all the like
Yeah.
I think I have one more class coming
lots
up
of
too,
articles and writing essays on articles.
though. Just dreaming.
Yeah,
I'd
and I
rather
got-
somebody run me ragged in the hospital doing
Yeah.
clinicals than to do that.
Yeah.
I am the
But
clinical, not
it's
clerical nurse.
it's so funny because I hated it when I was in school.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't like, I would read like I'd read the abstract, I think it's called, like
Yeah,
the beginning,
and
and then the ending, and like let me
I'm
know what I
sleeping.
just like,
Yeah.
give me what this is about, and then tell me what the answer is.
Mm-hmm.
But like now that I'm practicing more, I do love up to date because
I
I'm
know.
like, okay, you make so much
There's
sense now.
people for that, though.
Yeah.
There's nurses and doctors and everyone for that. There's something for everyone out there.
Yes,
It's just
exactly.
not for me.
I would
will
never be a research
Read it, though.
provider.
Yeah, I don't think I could either.
I could never do it.
It's too
I don't
much.
even. And
There's a lot of laws.
I think, like to get things like approved.
yeah, and to
You know what I
do
mean?
the physical. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be me. I don't think, because I was never good at like what's your hypothesis, and then
know.
going into that stuff, and
I don't know. I just know I'm right. So can we move on,
I keep,
please?
like, hitting my chin with this. Yeah, and it's just like just somebody else do it for me, and then let me know the answer. That's what I'd rather. I'd rather you just tell me. But kind of like backtracking a little bit, we were talking about like the fact that an aesthetic injector, like you can be this, this, and this, and like all the different things that you can do. I was gonna say, like, what are some of the things that you specifically offer?